shockingly enough, The Nation published an article revealing a little secret about the Congressional Black Caucus. Now, it's not a secret to me and probably to some of you as well, but they really put the Congressional Black Caucus on blast. They are talking about the CBC's silence when it comes to Israel. And if you're wondering why that is, you only have to do is just follow the money here. If you look at Jim Clyburn, for example, I point him out because he's one of the more older members of the Congressional Black Caucus who claims to be progressive. Jim Clyburn has taken over $203,000 from AIPAC. That's just AIPAC, not all the other lobby interest groups that he takes money from. One of the others I think that kind of goes under the radar is Bakari Sellers. Now, I have talked about Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries multiple times on this show about taking that AIPAC money, but someone who kind of flew under the radar a little bit was Bakari Sellers. I'm taking you back 11 years ago. 11 years ago. Listen to what Bakari said back then, how he became close to AIPAC.
Let me ask you something about your engagement with AIPAC, not so much what it does and is, but, well, tell us what it is and how you became involved in it and what this has meant to your development as a leader.
Well, I got a phone call this summer after I got elected in summer 2004, inviting me to a policy conference where there were...
Summer you got elected?
To the SJ presidency.
Yes.
So summer 2004. Invited me to their national policy conference, and they were inviting SJ presidents, and they were reaching out to HBCU presidents, and they invited 4 HBCU presidents, but the only ones that responded were myself from Morehouse College and Adeola Adejobi, who was an SJ president at Spelman. And we went, and the only other African-American SJ president was from the University of Florida. I can't recall his name. But it might have been 10 black people at the whole conference of 7,500. And I remember one moment that they had the roll call, but I was just so enthralled that we went to this huge dinner that they have, and every member of Congress, or at least 75% of them were there. And I got to, see Steny Hoyer again, who has the best hair in Congress. Uh-huh. And, I got a chance to see Condoleezza Rice and see George Bush. And the unique thing is they had this huge roll call where they notified and they let the crowd know who was there. And they let them know the SJ presidents they had there, but they left out the only 2 HBCU presidents they had. I didn't even recognize it, but afterwards the staff, the executive director, this huge organization came and apologized and said, "We'll make it up to you." And I was like, don't worry about it. I don't care. So the next morning we're sitting in a huge forum waiting on the president, at that time George Bush, to speak. And after they introduced the president, they had a pause, and they said, "We would also like to recognize, as President Bush stand and wait, we would also like to recognize the SJ president from Morehouse College and Spelman College, Bakari Sellers and Adeola Adejobi. May they please stand." So that attention to detail, and we made President Bush wait even just for that moment, meant a great deal. But from the 50,000-foot view, it's expanded my world horizon. And I challenged them on issues. I challenged them on issues dealing with...
Listen to this. Listen now.
Palestine and the way that they treat the Palestinian government and their aggressiveness towards the Palestinian government. And I say that there are, and their aggressiveness as they move or refuse to move back in terms of some of their settlements and things of that nature.
That was 11 years ago. That was Bakari Sellers saying, well, yeah, I'm in with AIPAC, but I challenged them about, the settlements and the Palestinian people. Okay, that was 11 years ago. But then in 2022, Mr. I challenged them. He was one of the people, just to remind you, he created a PAC to get Rashida Tlaib out of office. PAC to spend $1 million to oust the squad member Rashida Tlaib. Does everybody remember this? That Bakari Sellers was the one who did this? Now, why am I telling you this? Because Rashida Tlaib is the only Palestinian member in Congress. Now, he said he challenged AIPAC 11 years ago. I challenged them about the settlements and their treatment of the Palestinian people. But fast forward to 2022, and he had no problem creating a PAC to remove the only Palestinian American congresswoman. So why is this important? This article that is presented by Politico is damning, and it has been making the rounds, and people are like, uh-oh. The Congressional Black Caucus silent partner with AIPAC. Let's just jump to the nitty gritty here. Yeah, they called them all out. Called them out. Let's start right about here. They were talking about committing acts of genocide, and it goes into here. Yet to this day, the Congressional Black Caucus, the long-standing core of lawmakers dedicated to safeguarding civil rights, has not issued a formal declaration condemning Israel. It hasn't even produced a statement calling for a ceasefire. The CBC's silence isn't accidental. More than half of its current 61 members have been endorsed or funded by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the powerful U.S. lobbying arm for Israel's agenda. In 2023 to 2024 election cycle alone, AIPAC endorsed 26 of the caucus's members, raising $4.6 million for them and another $3.5 million for Black Democratic candidates. By accepting AIPAC's endorsement and money, CBC members are to use the biblical term of phrase, selling their birthright for a mess of pottage. AIPAC readily sets aside the political concerns of the CPC in its efforts, spending lavishly on campaigns for GOP members of Congress, targeting measures on racial equality, which totaled more than $17 million in 2023 and 2024 cycle. AIPAC, together with its two political action committees, AIPAC, PAC, and United Democracy Project, has one purpose: defending Israel at all costs. We support the candidates based on one criteria: their commitment to strengthening the U.S.-Israel relationship. Pause here and I'll pick back up. Israel has control over the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus takes trips to Israel. They put Israel first as well. That's why you don't see them do anything for Black people. They're just there in representation only. Okay. So all these puppets, Jim Clyburn, Bakari Sellers when he was there, but all these puppets like him, Cory Booker, etc., that march up and down the street and tell you about civil rights. Cory Booker was just on I've Had It podcast talking about civil rights and among other things. All of these politicians that do that are selling you out to a genocidal state. You can't say, I agree with civil rights in America, but you don't agree with civil rights abroad. And they're accepting the lobby interest money for it too. If we go on further here, you'll see the single issue litmus test means that the CBC is now beholden to a group that is far more concerned with the state of Israel than it is with the caucus's core mission. The CBC's silence not only damages its credibility, but also jeopardizes its ability to advocate for the interests of Black Americans, many of whom recognize an ethno-nationalist campaign to eliminate a people. They go on to talk about Cori Bush. Let's fast forward here. They bring up Jamal Bowman, right? How AIPAC came after Cori Bush, and then they came after Jamal Bowman. And you notice how silent members of the Congressional Black Caucus were, right? Bowman learned the cost of speaking the truth to spending power of AIPAC. When you go against one of their pieces of legislation, depending on what it is, they'll email you, relentlessly call you, relentlessly protest outside your office, and stop you from even being able to do your job. Excuse me. Why are Black politicians getting in line and on board with Israel? Why are Black politicians aligning with people who are expelling people, killing people, who want an ethno-supremacist state? Why are they doing that? Money, corruption, and greed. Right? So we know what happened to Jamal Bowman. They got him out of there. They got Cori Bush out of there. And they put in Wesley Bell, someone who was going to shuck and jive for them to be a part of that. Let's fast forward to the, here we go, the Jesse Jackson part. So this is Jesse Jackson back in the day. I want to give you guys a little bit of historical context because I think that this is important. Check this out. The Israel lobby support for Black lawmakers has always rested on their uncritical backing of Israel. January 30th, 1972, Representative Charles Diggs, chair of what was then a 13-member caucus, announced plans for a national Black political convention to take place in March 10th through 12th in Gary, Indiana, to identify and ratify a national Black political agenda for 1972 and beyond. Wait for this. More than 10,000 Black Americans, Black nationalists, intellectuals, civil rights groups, and the CBC met in Gary and published a 55-page national Black agenda. Debate swirled around several measures considered for the platform, including economic empowerment, the possible formation of a third party representing Black Americans, and whether the agenda should endorse busing to achieve integration in public schools. So as much as we talk about third parties now, they were talking about that back then. So it's not a new topic, right? Wait till you see what happened. Let's continue on here. But the contentious debate devolved into irreparable rupture when it came to the question of Israel and Palestine. Black nationalists demanded a resolution to cut U.S. aid to Israel, return Palestinian lands, and affirm Palestinian self-determination. But members of the Congressional Black Caucus recoiled. Facing pressure from Jewish organizations, the CBC denounced the resolution, affirmed its support for Israel, and refused to endorse the national Black agenda. Instead, the caucus drafted its own platform, which plotted a decidedly moderate course, especially in foreign policy. 1 year after its inception, the CBC chose alliance with the Israel lobby over the support for Palestinians advocated by politically independent pro-Black organizations, a choice that continues to define CBC's politics today. So you see, this goes all the way back to the 70s. And when you see people like, you see the Cory Bookers, you see the Bakari Sellers, the Hakeem Jeffries, like the Congressional Black Caucus, when you see them, you need to understand they are not there to do anything for the Black community. They already made a vow that they are going to be there for Israel first. I say it's high time we got to kick these puppets out. We need people there that are going to represent the grassroots. So what that means is I am so tired of seeing the Stanford graduates. Cory Booker went to Stanford, the Yale, the Princeton, these people got to go. The only way that you fundamentally see this type of change, I think, number one, you have to get corporate money out of electoral politics. It's just got to go. The big money interests, the lobby groups, it's got to go. Two, you need people in there that are grassroots. And I mean grassroots and from the grassroots, not I graduated from Princeton, but I moved to a low-income neighborhood grassroots. That's what you need. But the Congressional Black Caucus, how silent they have been since the genocide. It is very telling, and it exposes some things, and it reminds me of something else I want to bring up. When you see the way the Ethiopians in Israel sign up to kill Palestinians, even though they are racially discriminated against as well, the Israelis are very racist towards them too. They're just not treating them as badly as they treat the Palestinians. They sterilize some Ethiopian women against their will and shit like that. But they're not bombing their homes and stuff. When you see the Ethiopians in Israel join up the IDF to kill these Palestinian people, they do so because they're just glad it's not happening to them. They sign on to align themselves with the racist, genocidal, supremacist state of Israel, the Israelis. They align themselves with them to kill the oppressed people so that they don't become the oppressed people. This is the crazy part about all of this, but this is exactly what is happening. It's like they are looking down on another group while the group at the top is looking down on both of them. But they don't want to get too much heat, so let me look down on that other group too. Now you got a whole Congressional Black Caucus that is willing to put aside what it was originally designed to do and to put Israel first and to make sure that is the first order of concern. And they are also willing, like the Ethiopians in Israel, to look down on an entire group of people who are oppressed because they're just glad that Israel is not doing it to them. This is a problem. So it goes back to the whole black faces in high places thing. This is a problem. I don't want to hear Jim Clyburn talk about how he marched, he helped with civil rights, how he was a progressive, how he did. I don't want to hear it. Save those stories for somebody who gives a damn, okay? Maybe you can write a book in the future to talk about a time when I actually did shit. I don't want to hear it. Cory Booker, I don't want to hear this story again about your damn parents who couldn't buy a house in New Jersey. And so the white friend came and said, I'm buying the house, and he got the house for your parent. I don't want to hear this story no more. Stop. Don't want to hear it. Hakeem Jeffries, his whole damn family know exactly what the Palestinian people have been going through. And so did Hakeem Jeffries, but he sold out as well for a career in politics. So, and at the point when you would turn away from your own uncle to get that career, when you see some of those faces, as we call them, black faces in high places, you need to start asking questions about how they got there, who they screwed over to get what they get. Because like I said, they don't put you there just because you're smart. They don't put you there because you're nice, or they just like your smile. It's who they stepped on. It's who they're stepping on and who they're willing to align with. And all these people got to go. Cory Booker got to go. Hakeem Jeffries need to go, and his old tired robot ass, he got to go. Jim Clyburn, you need to go. Who's the other one? Maxine, you need to go ahead and retire yesterday. We cannot sit here. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you, Cory Booker. None of them talk about police brutality, talk about voting rights for black people. I don't want to hear it. These are just talking points to get reelected. And at the end of the day, you are siding with the oppressor. So don't come over here and talk about the police state here in America and the impact on the black community when you support the police state in Israel against the Palestinian people. Don't want to hear it. That article by The Nation, Eric, can you put the link to that article in the chat? So people can read. It's a long article, so people can read it on their own as well. I want everybody to remember this. When they come and speak to you, when they come to your town, some of them are probably going to try to run for president in 2028. I want everyone to remember this. They have basically been gatekeepers. The Congressional Black Caucus has become a gatekeeping group of just a bunch of black folk that are pro-Israel. And that's it. Nothing else. Nothing more. That's all you are. Y'all just sitting up there holding up seats. And that's what we need to call it. And some people are going to come to you and they're going to tell you, well, this is all we got. Don't ever believe that. There are many people out there that could be so much better. So much better. You can see it here. This is a reminder. This was Bakari Sellers at an AIPAC event. Check this out.
There are some issues that rise above partisan politics, where the stakes are simply too high not to work together. The three of us come from different parts of the country. We come from different political parties, and we connect with different communities. And while we knew one another prior to our work with AIPAC, it is because of AIPAC that our friendships have deepened.
Sellouts on the damn stage. On the damn stage. Bakari Sellers and these other two clowns. Because no, you can't. You can't side with Israel. You can't sit up here and agree with them and then come back home to the black community and tell black people, yeah, you know, we got to fight back against da 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 da. It's a problem. It's been a problem. I think I'll be honest, I think some of the white liberals have been very hesitant to call out Corey, Hakeem, Clyburn and them, because I think they kind of feel like, well, if I call them out, then, you know, they're black congressmen. If I call them out, it might be a big, you know. So some of the white liberals, they've been kind of hesitant. They see what I see too, but they've been kind of hesitant. It's like, I don't go after him. Let me go after one of the white. Let me go after one of the white Congress members because I don't want to go after one of the black ones. And, you know, I applaud the nation for writing that article because, by the way, that needs to be seen by everybody. Everybody. They need to see it. Cause for reals, like you just can't, you can't get no. And then they pick who your hero is going to be for you. You know that, right? They tell you this is your representation. The Clintons picked Kamala Harris, swooped her in for Senate. They knew the plans they had for her. They put her in front of black people and say, this is your representation. Barack Obama, this is your representation. Cory Booker, this is your representation. They tell you who is going to represent you. People need to start picking their own representation. That's how I see it. Yeah. Eartha said they're picking Newsom now. Exactly. See, there you go. There you go. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.